Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is the 22nd. Is it just me or did that ending just all of a sudden it's quiet? Hey, but it's okay. Look, I didn't screw anything up. I got the lights on. The microphone is working fine. And, well, I don't know. Today, are we going to have good trading? Well, we got the ECB. That's always a little frustrating for me. I'm not a fan of the ECB press conference, okay? I find it inconvenient. Let's go to the charts. Volume profile. So, well, man, the Treasuries is an interesting one, but let's start with the E-mini where we usually do. Okay, so yesterday was a pretty good day. I have to say, there was something a little different to this rise yesterday. There were several moments where there were declines that were a little excessive. Like, the order flow came in really quickly against it, and overall, I feel like that this market is still on edge. I don't think that means that it's going to, stop or reverse or anything like that, but just, the volatility index remains elevated and everything, so, they're not necessarily saying that we're, completely out of the woods yet. I will note that institutions really have not been buying this dip these last 2 days. So that is a little bit concerning. And there's a lot of reasons, according to Goldman Sachs, that we could continue to see declines over the next month or so. So that's where we're at on the E-mini. Now, the Treasuries came back quite a bit yesterday. 20-year auction tailed. And now here overnight, it does look like the downside, they were able to come back a little bit. So we'll see. I'm kind of getting some hints that we might be at an inflection point. I will see if the Treasuries take another leg lower or if that's all there is and it reverts. If that's all there is and it reverts, then I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for, more risk out there, risk aversion out there, rather. Oil had a pretty good day yesterday too, back above 70. Gold, I mean, it's been around that 1800 area for a really long time, hasn't it? Right now though, the fundamentals just don't look terribly good for gold, right? Because we're not getting inflation, but they're not rising when the interest rates go lower either. So what does that mean? Yeah. Gold and silver is just you can't win. No matter what happens, they don't go up. It's really crazy. Okay. Then we got copper. Copper, 4.3. So it sounds like that China might not be auctioning off as much copper as they initially thought. So maybe some gains there because of that. And then we got the dollar. The dollar actually took a little bit of a dive yesterday. Oh, you know what? Our little chart is screwed up here. Well, let's restart. Let's restart NinjaTrader right now. Yep. So it's that one. Well, come back over here. Let me blow my nose. Fernando says it seems we got to normal NES recording traded volume. Yeah, that's the thing is everything seemed to be in order except for the volatility index. I would have preferred that the VIX dropped a little bit more, but it was like I was saying, is he kept getting these little hints of panic, like they were still all triggered or something. It's kind of weird how that was all working out. Okay, finally got Ninja Trader to end task there. Hopefully when I open it back up here, it'll be okay. Sometimes when I have to kill it like that, you get weird stuff. NatWest says, following regulated guidelines, they have taken steps as a bank to restrict payments to cryptocurrency exchanges. I don't know what that means. Who is that? NatWest. Okay, so we are going to get the ECB here. I don't expect anything like super interesting to come out of it, but probably there will be some market moves. So that's just kind of the way it seems to go, is like, even if they say something that should already be assumed or well known, the market can still have reactions to it, because robots and clueless traders and things like that. You have to excuse me, I'm still kind of like getting going here. Getting myself comfortable. Okay, there's a text to speech. Okay. Better. Much better. Okay, so for our algorithm, which by the way was great yesterday, we are going to leave it off because of the ECB. I'll turn it back on 5 minutes after the open, but I doubt it's going to take any trades today. Okay, so we are getting a few numbers here. Chicago National Activity Index, spot 9 versus a forecast spot 3%. And initial jobless claims, 419 versus 350K expected. So that is not good. That is actually quite a bit higher than expected, by about 50K. Yeah, that's a miss. That's a miss. Good morning, Lucas. Glad to have you here bright and early. Wall Street Journal says the Fed ramps up debate on taper timing and pace. Could you expand on this, please? Asks Winston. Okay, so there is this whole thing about when does the Federal Reserve start to wind down their asset purchases. So it's already kind of, the impulse is already kind of like flattened out, but at some point they're going to have to, all of that QE that they put in, they want to, roll that off and get rid of it. Take that money out of the system. Okay. So that is the taper, is when the Federal Reserve unwinds quantitative easing. Now, the argument is that because we've been getting higher than expected inflation, and because the proponents of this believe that the inflation is being caused in part by the Federal Reserve, there is some pressure to begin tapering. And when do you begin tapering? Because you probably are going to want to taper before you actually raise rates, right? That's the way that they've been doing it, or that's the way they did it last cycle, was first you unwind the quantitative easing and then you start raising the interest rates. Man, the Treasuries just really took off after that. I'm really surprised that the E-mini is not reacting to that. I don't necessarily want to trade it. Well, I guess, because the ECB thing is going to be starting up here, but It might be worth one, like a try right here. And give it a little bit of room, maybe. Looks like the 5-year is being ringleader right now. Mm. Are we flattening? We are. Both flattening again. Okay, well, that price is not behaving the way that I would prefer. And if they do raise interest rates, do you think they will raise the interest rates? Well, so the plan, supposedly, is that they will raise interest rates at the end of 2022. Actually, we should go and look at that here in a second. That's weird. That message sent twice to win. Okay, so let's go look at that. cmegroup.com. Last time I checked, the market's expectation was that it would happen in December of 2022. So if we come to December 2022, they're saying that there is a 40% chance that it will be the same as it is now, and a 40% chance that it will be one rate increase higher. And they are pricing in a little bit of that they might go 2 or 3 now. So does that mean that if I come back to some of the earlier ones that there will start to be... there is. Okay. So it used to be that up until December, there was like almost no chance that they were going to do it. So... Okay, so think about it from that perspective, right? If they're going to raise interest rates in December 2022, then that means that they've got a year and a half. Oh, look at that. They did take it. That means that they've got a year and a half to unwind the QE. Okay. So if that's what's going to happen, they don't want to do it right away. They want to message it first. So they've got to talk about when are we going to taper, and we got to tell everybody like what the schedule is going to be and all that sort of a thing. So the expectation was, or at least the bet that the market was making was that at the Jackson Hole Symposium, which is the big yearly conference that the Federal Reserve puts on at the end of the summer in Jackson Hole, where all of the rich people go and, to that lovely resort town. They're very close to me, by the way. But I ain't got an invite, unfortunately. The expectation was that they would be talking about that and revealing their plans at Jackson Hole. But this most recent market volatility is suggesting that that's not going to happen anymore. Wall Street Journal article on TikTok? What? Inside TikTok's highly secretive algorithm. Ooh. Volatility will not happen anymore? Well, where did we say that? Okay, so I want to look back at this trade that I did. This 07 was where I took it. Okay, so if I am able to get one tick there between 7 and 7.5, but it's not ticking into 8 yet. Probably I could have gotten it if I had taken 06.5. Yeah, I think you misheard. I don't think I meant to say volatility won't happen anymore. What you should expect to see in volatility when they're doing quantitative easing in particular is it puts downward pressure on volatility. We tend to get less volatility because of quantitative easing, right? I think that's kind of why this latest market scramble that we had on Monday was so alarming to people, is because it was a very significant rise in volatility that really shouldn't have happened. But anyways, so they were expecting the Federal Reserve to talk about the taper at Jackson Hole, but then this recent bout of volatility came along, and the interest rates decreased across the board. So when the interest rates decreased across the board, all of a sudden it was like, well, maybe the Federal Reserve's not going to talk about tapering. Maybe we need to think about that they won't be able to raise interest rates until 2023. But that brings us back to all this stuff that we talked about in our video, right? Like, is the move just supply and demand in treasuries? You got to wonder, because that 20-year auction did not go well. We have another auction today, don't we? I should be paying attention to that. 10-year tips. Okay. I forget what tips means. Treasury inflation protected securities. Okay. Means that their value is indexed to inflation, so when you buy those ones, you're guaranteed to be protected against inflation. Oh, by the way, while we were not paying attention, well, Seth was not paying attention, I bet you guys were, the E-mini did take a dive. Excuse me. They finally sat there and went, oh, yeah, that jobless claims is kind of not good. I'll be interested to see what the TikTok. So I kind of thought that I had the formula figured out, because I had a couple of videos that did really, really well, and then I made one on Tuesday and it was like not as interesting to people for some reason. I need to make one today. I think I know what I'm going to make today. Oh, you know what? I need to turn. Should have my new squawk on here. Wow, didn't get filled, but it came awfully close, huh? I had the right idea. It's okay. Yeah, thank you for posting that link. That is the correct link, right? That all works correctly. I haven't checked that in a while. I should, let's see here. Can you even get into it? Oh, cool. Skype does work. Hmm. Let me go back. Hmm. It don't work anymore. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to see. Hits 95. I actually don't get that many clicks. That's interesting. That's unfortunate because I think that it's probably one of the best services I could refer you to. Okay, so they broke 06 half and 06 is kind of failing, so I don't necessarily want to take it again. I didn't have one sitting out there, right? Yeah, okay. We scratched the one. It's fine. The billionaire who missed out on TikTok is trying to beat it. Oh well. So here's the thing. Everybody always talks about how quickly a social media platform can be supplanted. So first it was MySpace, and then we had Facebook. And then we don't really think about Facebook being supplanted, but it was, right? It was beat out by Instagram, and Facebook just bought Instagram, right? Then we had what was it? What's the one where you can like send people pictures and they can't save them? Right, that was for a short moment, but then TikTok took over, right? So TikTok has really replaced Facebook as the dominant social media platform, right? Well, when I look at those changes, it's really like there's been an innovation that takes them there, right? So I think if somebody was going to beat TikTok, quote unquote, they would need to have a significant improvement. They'd have to have a feature that really means something. Snap, that's right. Alejandro Lopez's Snapchat. Instagram is trying hard to push Reels format inferior. Yeah, well, and this is the thing about TikTok. Or sorry, hold on a second. Let me rest for a second. I just seem to be a little off here. I just coughed up a loogie. Let me drink some water and stuff. So Snapchat did a bunch of weird things. I didn't get dizzy. I'm just like all of a sudden my thoughts are less organized. So they used to be that you have Instagram open, and at the bottom of the app, that's where you would push the plus button, and you could take photos. And then when they added in the other stuff, they, like the stories in particular, then they moved that button. Well, at first they just included it in that button, and then you had to select which one you wanted. But then they moved the button. They made the button down at the bottom be Reels, and the where you create stuff to be up at the top. And like when they did that, it was like people stopped posting as much. It was almost like an acknowledgement that the Instagram format didn't work anymore, and that everybody was using TikTok. And if everybody's using TikTok, why use the cheap knockoff version of it? Why not just use actual TikTok, right? Like that's how I read it. And so I go and I post stuff on TikTok, and I don't bother reposting it anywhere else. I probably should repost it more on YouTube, but I'm not convinced that I'll get a lot of exposure from them on YouTube. I guess I should try again. I guess I should try some more, but it's just like that. I feel like, TikTok is the place where people are building stuff, and that's the place where it'd be better to be involved, because you get better discovery there. Just period. The issue with TikTok is that you don't get good translation. Like, if I bet you that of the 1,500 or so followers that I have on TikTok, only about 10% of them actually see all of my TikToks. And two, probably like 5 of them are you guys. And the rest of them have never visited my YouTube page. They just don't translate to other platforms because they're doom scrolling. They're not interested. Now I am feeling a little woozy. No, that's the whole thing. Brett says, use informative TikToks to drive YouTube views for your solid video library. That's the thing, is I can make a TikTok. First of all, it's harder to make an informative TikTok take off. But then if you do get an informative TikTok to take off, which I have done, none of those people go to your YouTube. Like, the conversion rate is really, really low. And it has to do with the format. The way that people use TikTok is, I'm bored, I don't have anything else to do, and I need a dopamine hit. Then you doom scroll, as we call it, doom scroll. You just keep scrolling until you find something that interests you. And then maybe you're in a bad mood, the app isn't showing you anything that interests you, you get fed up and you stop. And you actually go and live your life. Like, that's what happens. So it's hard, or it's really hard to convert people. So I picked a couple of TikTok creators to see how they do with this. I have run across a financial related TikTok account or two that are really, really successful on TikTok and appear to have had translation over on YouTube. There is this one guy that, by the way, I think is totally full of shit. But he does have a very good following. And his YouTube has a lot of subscribers. I mean, the thing that's funny is he makes all of these TikToks that are like, oh, now I have all of the income that I need. Even when I started this, everybody said, oh, you never make it as a creator and this and that. But I'm like, well, you're all claiming to make a ton of money from trading, but you're probably, based on what you've said, you're making it all on YouTube. There's nothing wrong with that per se, as long as you're not being misleading. And I feel like that this guy is. He's telling everybody that he is like the guru, and he just doesn't have a clue. Anyways, but he has a lot of YouTube subscribers, and there's nothing in, like, his YouTube videos are really boring and poorly done. I'm like, it must have been the TikTok, but I'm not really sure. Maybe it was that the TikTok was able to get one of his YouTube videos to go off, and then YouTube algorithm picked up on it or something. Is the E-mini going to take another step lower? I am starting to feel a little woozy now. Let's see what I ate. I ate eggs, a banana, and some hash browns. So none of that should make me feel like this. Maybe I'm sicker than I thought, though. I've kind of had like this gunk in my throat for the past few days. I've been trying to get to bed early and, like, you know, take care of it, but it's actually been getting worse. Let's see, when you first brought up the subject, I had like this big long, okay, we gotta go here and here and here, and I just like took one of those points and I felt like I did it poorly, and I'm sitting here like, okay, guys. Okay. You know what really drives me crazy about TikTok, though, is that you really don't get rewarded for quality content. You really don't. You get rewarded for drama, controversy, extravagance. It's really like the most base of human impulses. What is the time frame you're using at NQ on Jigsaw? What do you mean by time frame on Jigsaw? Are you talking about perhaps so on NQ, I just have one little thing that shows me what the current price is, and that's it. So, but on my charts, I'm using 1 and 5 minute charts primarily. So I can provide something that's more useful to you, Miguel. Miguel, that's how we say it in Spanish, yeah? Miguel Zapata, which means shoes. There was an elder in my mission that was named Elder Zapata. It means man shoe. Yes, I saw a trader does this. His numbers go so speedy. Yeah. So if you watch these to the left of my MES DOMs, you can see these ones where I'm hiding all of this stuff and I can just see the price. And yeah, it moves around a lot when things get going. And he has a lot of bad trades. Yeah. Anyways, so let's talk about quantization. So let's say, like, the best example of quantization is in audio, actually. So in audio, you get a wave like this. This is a wave. Boop, 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 boop. But the reality is that we can't actually represent it like that because we are using digital. So there has to be some like little level. So they do it like this. Okay, well, we'll deal with that in a second. So you get this sort of an issue, right? So the digital audio, some audiophiles say they only like records. They only like vinyl records because of this quantization. You get a higher quality. There are certain things about it that are higher quality. I don't think that it's anything that anybody would be able to hear, but a lot of audiophiles claim that they can. So, like, really hardcore audiophiles, they like records. Quantization. So, how does quantization apply to trading? Well, it's the same thing, except for it's with time, right? We can only represent a 1 minute bar or a 5-minute bar. And if you were to change where the minute bar started and ended by 5 seconds, you would get different prices on your bars, right? And there could be all sorts of errors that you would derive from that, right? So that kind of should tell you a couple of things. Number one is that there's not necessarily an inherent edge in the charts, like the price levels that people kind of make them out to be. Maybe there is if a bunch of other people are watching it, but there's an issue with that, right? Because then there's competition. So you don't really actually want to trade those. So, but you can make quantization adjusted indicators. So basically we can look at the time frames and everything, and we can determine how much error that might be introducing into your indicator and adjust for it. So a lot of Euler's stuff does that. A lot of John Euler's stuff adjusts for that, but it just kind of should make you realize that, oh, okay, a 1 and a 5 minute chart can kind of be a guide, but trying to make a big issue out of a specific price. I mean, I watch pivots, you know, every once in a while I'll say, okay, like they got 30 seconds to get above this price or whatever. It does seem to matter, but it also, it doesn't, you know, it's like the algorithms fight over it, but it's not necessarily worth you taking a trade just on that. That makes sense? He has a lot of bad trades. So what I was getting at on TikTok. So I saw this video yesterday on TikTok, and this guy is in a trade on some ticker I've never heard of before. And I don't know how many contracts. Like, the thing is that you're not seeing the whole screen. So it's hard to figure out what's actually going on. But what you can see is his daily P&L. And he's taking this trade and it goes against him. And his daily P&L goes to negative 100,000. Negative 100,000. And then it comes back and he gets up to like 20K profit. And he takes his profits. He actually could have gotten more if he had held on to it, according to the commenters, but he just took the 20K win. And he was like, well, in the comments, he was like, well, sometimes that happens, but I do have like an 87% win rate over the past month. Are you kidding me? And it had so many comments and likes and stuff. It made me mad. It really did. Because other people are watching this stuff and going, oh, that's cool. I want to take on irresponsible risks like that. It makes me mad. Like, to me, the capital that we get, that you have, I think that the job that we do is important. And that when you got when the market has entrusted you with capital to trade with, that we should be responsible with that money, and that we should put it to the most productive use that we know how. And to go in and just, you know, irresponsible trading like that, and then convince other people that that's cool and them possibly trade like that is so awful. It's so counterproductive. I don't remember what his name was. Maybe it was him. But I also bet you that it was not a live account. There's no way that this guy is taking 100K losses like that. You would not last very long doing that sort of thing, you know? The other thing was he was pushing a service. So I remembered there was some people that contacted me about a service that was like, oh yeah, we want to make our own streaming platform, but it'll be just for traders. I was like, well, why would I do that when I can stream on YouTube? Right? Doesn't make any sense unless you're gonna like pay me money. But But this guy was in on all of the dumb things. No, it was not. It was not the warrior trading guy. Oh, I'm thinking of Ross. No, I think it was somebody else. It was somebody that I'd never seen their account before. I'm sure that video was like the video that made them go viral. But that's where I'm like, yeah, you're using a sim account. Because you can't see anything on the screen except for like that one area in his face. So it's like, yeah, no way for me to know that that's live. It's probably not. I would hope that if it's a live account that you're not risking $100,000 on a single trade. Unless your account was like $10 million, and I highly doubt that because there's no way that you get that high doing that sort of a trade. Oh man. Yeah, it really rubbed me the wrong way. I'm trying to be responsible here, you know what I mean? Like taking on risk you can make money from taking on risk, but there's a difference between taking on risk and managing risk and just being irresponsible, you know? And especially when you're leading other people down that path. So irresponsible, just so that you can get likes on social media. It's so awful. And yet this is kind of what I have to compete with. So like kind of comes back to, okay, so how do we compete in that landscape? What do we got to do? We made a video that kind of tells people about current market activity. I think that would be the most beneficial to them, you know? But I think there's some fundamental problems with that approach, right? I don't think that that's what's going to get you the views. Like, I think one of the issues is, I'm going into hyper retrospective mode. So bear with me here. So I was watching a streamer the other day and they were being really introspective and I found it really interesting, but at the same time, I didn't really have anything to say. I was like, oh, I understand now why they go so quiet when that happens. Okay. One of the things that I've read about marketing that I see a lot is like the way that you do the marketing is they're the hero and you are the person that is going to help them achieve their goals and make all of their dreams come true. Right? Well, is that really the way that I run this channel? Not really. I run this channel as like I'm the center of attention, don't I? Which isn't necessarily intentional, but it becomes about what my view on the market is, because the real intention here is to create a community where we can talk about trading and do all that stuff that is really hard to find, because we can see you going around, you go to other communities, you get these people that aren't really serious about it. They're more serious about trying to take advantage of you. You run this channel like you're the senpai? Maybe I do. I have to be really clear. And anytime that I'm coming in and I'm like the guru, like I have my opinion and I am really strongly opinionated. Okay. But I am often wrong. And I don't want to come in here like I am the master trader, because as much as I know, and I do believe that I know more about this than most traders. Okay. We've gotten into some pretty advanced stuff, right? So what we do here is much more sophisticated than your typical YouTube day trading. But even with all of that, it's still really crazy hard. And you might have something that works for you, and if it does, then you should use it. And everything that I'm trying to do is geared towards sharing with you information that I know is true, and that I know you can go out and verify for yourself, and then using that information come up with your own strategies. That's the intention, right? How do you make that more marketable? How do we make that more marketable? I know. Maybe I'm getting some ideas here. Maybe I should talk about this sort of thing more. Like, nobody wants to do the hard work at, says Mari. That might be the case. Well, that was kind of the idea with the current market conditions, is like the take was, most people shouldn't be trading futures. Most people aren't going to be hyper interested in the things that we do here on the stream. So I don't expect the stream to be hyper popular, but we can provide solid information. And so if we continue to do that, then we'll get viewers that way and we'll tap into a more general audience, right? I think that we've got a good base there. Oh, man. I'm like hiccuping and burping and my throat. I just feel so gross right now. I'm sorry, guys. I think we've got a good thing there. Like a TikTok or two did take off because of that. But what I'm also realizing is, hey, that's not enough. We've got to get a better hook to draw them in, to get them to market that to them, that, oh, I should follow this so that I can get better market insights. If you have something that works for you, yes, and what works for this channel is when you fellows and lady traders hit the like button. Thanks, yes. We have such a dedicated core group of subscribers here, which is the one thing that really makes that I'm the most proud of. Like I would not trade, like that's kind of the thing that makes it so hard, is that I would not trade you group of 12 people or so that are here every day for 100,000 subscribers. I would not do it. I would not do it. I want both. And do I really want both? I would be nice to have both. But there's kind of, there's kind of a little bit of, bring one of those OnlyFans girls. It would be nice. It would be nice to have other people on the stream from maybe even every day. Well, so like this is one of the reasons why I keep saying I'd kill for someone to say nice call, Ace. I have said it once before. The thing is when Ace makes a call that I think is really a good call, by when it ends up working out, I'm more concerned about how much I made from it. No, it would be nice to have somebody on the stream that was not trading to keep track of things for us. You know what I mean? I feel like Win does that for us. She's going around, she's finding links, and she finds the links for us. She does a really, really good job. What we got to do is we got to get Win into Discord. We got to get Win into Discord so that she can talk to us, and so that she can interrupt me when she needs to. Or to tell me I'm going over my risk limits when she needs to. I know, play it over and over. But you know what? At the same time, if some 20-year-old came in and wanted to join up with the channel and was good looking and it got viewers because she was good looking and it didn't detract from the other things that we're trying to do in this channel, I'd totally do it. You thought Win was a bot? No, she is just a really great lady from Tennessee that for whatever reason has become an integral part of our community. And she does a good job. Oh, I thought the new squawk was going to say something there, but he didn't say anything. No, well, something about the Northern Ireland issue, which is one I'm not going to try and clear my throat again here. I'm going to go and try and take some Mucinex because this is just getting really thick. Okay, it says 48.25. Short 40. Well, yeah, of course, for short. That one's not actually not too bad. I'm a little weary about ahead of the open. There could be an attempt to retrace, but I bet you he's going to get his target. Like if I could get 48.25, 46.25, that'd probably be worth it. But for now, I'm going to go and try and take some Mucinex and see if that will like thin out my mucus and make things not so bad. I'll be right back. Monty says trading avoid white rice and milk. Nah, I don't think that's it. I think that I'm allergic to something, or I've picked up a bug. I was getting a sore throat at points in the week, but it wasn't serious. And what it's turned into is just really thick mucus in the back of my throat, kind of like, I'll get a glob of it back there and it makes me want to gag. I know, that's what you want to hear about while you're trading, huh? It's the Delta variant, walk it off. No, I doubt that. It doesn't, it's not the right symptoms. No fever or anything like that. So Ace did have a couple of contracts hit, but then stopped out. So it was like a break even. It was fine. It was fine. Like the Treasury's hitting back hard. Really hard. In fact, when this news came out, we were in like the 04 area and the Treasuries are hitting back hard. That kind of suggests to me we should take a long, Ace. We're probably already well past where we should take a long, though, right? Just take some vitamin C and build an effing immune system. Probably that is it. I really wonder, Stick, like, how much has the shutdowns affected our immune systems? So I've seen a lot of comments from health officials saying that what this has been doing to the immune systems of children is not good. And I must say that since the pandemic started, my health has not been as good. It used to be I literally never got sick, and I've been sick like 3 or 4 times now in the last year. You think that Seth might have an intolerance to milk, but I hardly ever drink any milk, though. That's the thing. I never directly drink milk, ever. Not even like in cereal. Look up melatonin and COVID-19 on PubMed. I probably am not getting outside enough. That would probably help me a little bit. Past few days I haven't been in the sun as much. I love my Rice Krispies in water. No, I don't. I just don't eat cereal. Did you know that cereal was invented to try and prevent trying to prevent young men from masturbating? Yeah. When I found that out, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be eating, because all through my high school years and everything, I always ate cereal, and I look back and I'm like, I would probably have grown more. I would have been a lot healthier and everything if I was just eating a more serious breakfast instead of cereal. If my mom had woken up every day and made cereal, you're going to need a citation for that? Okay. I thought that would be something that you would already know about, but apparently not. That just kind of sounded like what this is gonna. I'm warning you, Ace. This is going to be one of those things that you're gonna think about, you're gonna know about, and it's gonna change your perspective on things. But it's gonna be very much in line with how you feel, because it's really kind of anti-religious, frankly. I'm just going to read out the first story that I found on this. This is from mcgill.ca. So this is a Canadian website. Cornflakes may not be your favorite breakfast cereal, but it remains one of the cereals that is always at breakfast buffet and always in your mother's pantry. It might just be that your distaste for cornflakes is not by accident, though, as Mr. Kellogg actually developed cornflakes primarily to stop children from masturbating. He had particular ideas about masturbation, writing, "If illicit commerce of the sexes is a heinous sin, self-pollution is a crime doubly abominable." That was a quote from Mr. Kellogg. He felt that certain foods inspired self-pollution, like spicy foods, meat, and generally anything that tasted too good. One of the biggest fights he had with his brother and his business partner was over adding sugar to cornflakes. Kellogg's brother had the right idea that sugar would vastly improve the taste of cereal, but Kellogg stood by his original vision, that of plain and boring, sexual desire killing food, so the flakes remained unsweetened. That's why wheat is a slave through food through history, says NASDAQ trader. Well, the whole thing here is that he thought that it would reduce masturbation, but obviously the ideas that he had that made him think that would happen were false, right? All right, let's see if we can find it on Wikipedia for you. Now read the fact-checked version. Oh, yeah, there's Snopes. Is there a Snopes article? Oh, there you go. There's a Snopes article. They say that they exaggerated it. I'm going to say that it comes back and that it's actually mostly true. Let's hear. What is their argument that it's mostly false? Well, yeah, the mental floss article is the origin of this for sure. That was not what I was reading, but I've already been linked to it, and that's where I first remember seeing it. Okay, these counters that they're giving to it are not relevant. So here they're saying, here, I'll show you what I'm reading here, right? I have to say, yeah, Ruzi says, LOL, Snopes. Like, Snopes can be really good on some things, but I think that very often the way that they say something is mostly false or mostly true is like just outright manipulative. There are very often times where they say something where something is 100% true, and they prove it in their own article, and then they say it's mostly false. That happens all the time. So, like, the one they're coming in here, they're saying, okay, well, here's where it came from. The claim that John Harvey Kellogg created cornflakes for their supposed masturbation-suppressing qualities, and more specifically that he promoted the product as such, has been online for several years. So I think that he promoted the product as such is probably false. Okay. Several sources have prevented the phrase healthy, ready-to-eat, anti-masturbatory morning meal in quotation marks, giving readers the impression that those words originated with an actual advertisement in the cereal, and the reality was never used by Kellogg, nor was it used to promote them. Yeah, probably not. If you had developed the food to prevent people from, I don't think that you would promote it that way, right? So here they're saying, what their advertising actually was. The claim is not that it was promoted it that way. The claim is that's why that was a driving factor behind why he made the cereal the way he did. You're digging into the vegan agenda. That's interesting. According to Howard Markle, the initial impetus for the invention of cornflakes came from the need to create a breakfast food that countered indigestion. Okay. He also listed several purported cures and treatments for the practice, one of which related to diet. Kellogg believed a strong, direct link existed between the food and drink one consumed and the thoughts and urges one had. He outlined in the book what he described as the most simple, pure, and unstimulating diet as a means to prevent or bring an end a tendency towards masturbation. A man that lives on pork, fine flour bread, rich pies and cakes and condiments, drinks tea and coffee, and uses tobacco might as well try to fly as to be chaste in thought. And then he gave all of his recommendations. Never overeat, only eat twice a day, don't eat stimulating food, don't drink stimulating drinks, eat and drink plain and bland foods and drinks. Okay. So I'm going to say, like, this is where I feel like that Snopes is not always very honest. Right? Because Kellogg did believe that food should be plain so that you won't masturbate, and he wanted his cereal to be plain for that reason. He didn't market it that way, and all of the things that they were saying, well, this isn't true, was because they didn't market it that way. Well, I think that the maybe it's so when they came in here, like if I was gonna write this article, right? Claim Kellogg's cornflakes were originally created in an effort to discourage American consumers from masturbating. I would put it as like a mixture or a misleading, right? Well, so they do come in here. The creation of cornflakes was part of JA's broader advocacy for a plain, bland diet. Without referring to cornflakes in particular, Kellogg elsewhere recommended a plain, bland diet as one of several methods to discouragement. Like, so that part is good. Okay, they did list in like a what's true, but I don't know if this part is particularly relevant, but Kellogg was a Freudian. Freud thought we were driven more by our animal instincts or sexuality than it's interesting. Yeah, it says so I was wrong. Well, I wouldn't say that you were wrong either. I mean, I think, Ace, that finding the Snopes article was a good call. It's just there. I disagree with them listing it mostly false, right? Because you get what I'm saying. Like the key claim here is that Kellogg wanted food to be plain because he thought that it would discourage masturbation, and that's why he made cornflakes really plain. And that is like the key claim here. That's true. So shouldn't it be mostly true or a mixture? But then they go on the what's false. Okay, so there are some things like maybe some ideas that people get attached to that weren't actually the central claim. So it would be important to point those things out and say, well, some people think that this and this, but we should also note that there's this fact and this fact and this fact. But that doesn't make the central claim mostly false, right? So it's like, this is what they do all the time, is they like editorialize. They editorialize the central premise. I don't get it. And they do this all the time. You get him to admit that he was wrong and you go easy. Well, I want him to feel comfortable admitting that he was wrong. Okay, so the open is happening. ECB press conference should be over. I'm not hearing anything coming out of my news squawk. Pretty quiet here. I have a little mix though. Like the thing is the jobless claims was bad, but the treasuries came back so hard too. But since they went and touched that 134, they've moved back up a good 5 ticks. So from a short-term perspective, I'm not sure which way to take it, huh? RJ says it turned into a good one. Yeah, it did. Anyways, cereal is not. If all you eat is cereal, it's not good breakfast. And that's all I ate as a kid. And it was harmful, and I wish I hadn't done that. Izzy says I was a Lucky Charms kid. Well, my burns wouldn't let us have anything that was too crazy sugary. By the way, did A's take along there? Were you guys talking about along? That I missed? I don't know. I don't know. If I was going to run a website like Snopes and I was going to make an article like this, I think that there shouldn't be like a overarching mostly false thing. It should be claim, right? So you could come in here and you could say Kellogg marketed cornflakes as, being that it would discourage masturbation. That then that would be a false claim, right? You would say that one's false. I don't know. Because I think what happens is the person that writes it, he says it's mostly false or mostly true based on his impression of what the claim is and not, what people might actually be searching for about it. You can buy an entire bag of just those Lucky Charm marshmallows. Ugh. When they made the Jurassic Park marshmallow cereal and we did that whole thing where you make a bowl of the marshmallows, and that turned me off them for like an effing decade. Whoa, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the E-mini took a little bit of a dive there. So that just kind of confirms my wariness here about taking a trade. Short buy is kicking back in now, yeah. Well, they didn't break the overnight low yet. They came really close, but they actually did save it just a few ticks above it. So we'll see if it hovers here for a little bit and dips down, or if they try and beat the opening range high now. Treasuries are seeing the risk come back in. I don't know. It's really frustrating to me when I see the treasuries moving a lot and I can't really predict it. It's really frustrating. I once ate an entire bag of licorice and felt the same. Oh man, that would probably make you throw up, right? Like licorice is not easy on your stomach. Eating that much of it, oh, that just makes me feel sick just thinking about it. Okay, there's a break of the overnight low. Okay, so a couple of things I can note here. We are on the downside. I have to say that the tape is not all that panicky like normally you see during a downturn. Not yet, at least. But sometimes those sorts of things just kind of start slow. Okay. I'm not necessarily seeing heavy dip buying. There are a few prices where there's some decent amount of trades. The treasuries fell down, and that made me think, well, maybe we're back into risk on mode, but now they've come back up. So we might be able to make a short here, but I think that I need to get the right price to do it. I don't think that I could just hit into it at 43, 45. Well, maybe I could get away with that if I had a bit of momentum going with me. But the whole situation kind of suggests to me that we want to catch a good spot and that we can afford to wait to get a good spot. Licorice is the only thing on earth I think tastes worse than cigarettes. Yeah, some people really don't like it, huh? Oh, Gus sent me a little scholarly study. Should save that. Yeah, I'll put it over here in our scholarly articles. What is it? Factor momentum. In this article, the authors discuss document robust momentum behavior in a large collection of 65 widely studied characteristic-based equity factors around the globe. They show that, in general, individual factors can be reliably timed based on their own recent performance. Time series factor momentum portfolio that combines timing all strategies of all factors earns an annual Sharpe ratio of SPY 4. Factor momentum adds significant incremental performance to investment strategies that employ traditional momentum, industry momentum value, and other commonly studied factors. The results demonstrate that momentum phenomenon is driven in large part by persistence in common return factors, by not solely by persistence in idiosyncratic. So something that I've found from researching momentum is that I find a lot of support for the idea of momentum on longer time frames, but not on short time frames. Now you're going long? Okay. We're gonna get this stream flagged. Oh man. That long actually was really surprised me. So that doesn't fit any of. It's actually contrary to what you normally do. Oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe not. Kind of depends on a few things. So the thing is I'm normally trying to sort out, am I a stronger believer in the long or the short based on fundamentals is one of the first things that I think through. Well, I don't see anything significant from the ECB press conference, but we did have the jobless claims were quite a bit higher than expected. In the pre-COVID era, missing it by 50, 60K would have been a big deal. So... but they're recovering that up in at least. I think that one might have would stop Ace out, but it is appearing to be going up. Oh, you know what? We can try turning on the robot. I'll do that. Okay, well, now that the E-mini has recovered its opening price and is attempting to push higher again, we can see the treasuries under pressure. So the treasuries seem to be responding more to their risk on, risk off sentiment more than anything right now. There's a little bit of steepening going on here as it happens too. Watching the spreads. If we were trading micro treasury futures and trying to do spread trades, I think I would be really frustrated right now, huh? Unless I had gotten like a 32. Did you move your stop? Because that went well below 49 on the pullback. I'm kind of thinking about long here though. Okay. Is AV didn't get in at 51, wait for a pullback. Well, there's something about that area that's interesting to me. Do you see it? I'll draw a picture here for you. The Treasury, the 10-year is not actually backing off here. That's interesting. Okay, well, that one failed. I'm going to puke that. You see that, right? The 10-year is actually lagging a little bit. Well, now it's getting a little more disorganized. No, that didn't work out so well either. Nope, that is not what I intended to do. Clicked one too many times there. Come on. Okay. So there's those treasuries looking like risk off all of a sudden, huh? But they've been a little flaky today, so tough call on that one. Oh, he says one more short. You did go short, huh? Interesting. Oh, he went at exactly the same price I did? How'd you do that? Did you just say flaky? No pun intended. Oh, do we get more economic news today? Am I that far? Am I that off? Oh, consumer confidence. And existing home sales. I did miss an important one there. Now we're starting to get those really wide swings. So some signs of more panicked action, kind of like what we had on Monday. Okay, good. I got filled. Dave says, "Why can't I stay out?" Because I think you're seeing the same thing I am, right? You're looking at this and you're saying things might turn ugly again. This might run. Like I'm just watching the way that this treasury is behaving and I'm thinking something's up. 50 Shades of Green, what? Cheerios. The market moving the way that it is right now ahead of consumer confidence this is something that it's done in front of other consumer confidence numbers that the more, like last week. They're just like sitting there right at the low and they haven't pierced it yet. There you go. Stop run. Wouldn't mind taking a contract off there, but I'm already down to 1. Yeah. The way that worked, though, is probably going to get a little bit of a pullback. Like you said, like there was a stop run, absorption, bounced right back up into the area that it was at. My eyes are watering a lot today, too. This is annoying. I don't know if that Mucinex is like kicked in yet or not. Okay, so no, there's like a lot of fight in the tape now that we've broken that low. We may just be stuck in this range here between 45 and 48 until the consumer confidence number comes out. Treasury is still kind of holding where they were, especially the 10-year. It looks like the 5-year is the one that's been pushing. Just noticing a little bit of buying made it through some limit orders there. Think Media, I watched that channel win, actually. Unusual $25 camera tripod. Oh, that'd be interesting because I could maybe use a better tripod. Okay, almost there for the news. Oh, he's using one of those things. Yeah, those things. Boom arm. 30 seconds. Okay, home sales less than expected. Consumer confidence lower than expected. -4.4. Oh, you mentioned. I ordered a new boom arm when. So Elgato came out with a new one and I went and tried it. But the order has been is on hold. I'm wondering if they sold more than they expected or something. Now, boom arm is like one of those scissor arms, you used to have lamps that were on them. You can just position it wherever you want and it will just hold because it's got springs and it's balanced. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm not sure what in these numbers that just come out would be considered positive. Home sales was less than expected. That's generally a negative, right? Suppose maybe they think that the interest rates can be lower. I don't know. But there was a little bit of buying up on there, but it came back really quickly. Let's see if they continue up or not. I know, I just wanted to type the word what. Okay. That right there was not necessarily. So I saw some flow come in here in the Treasury, and then the 10-year started reacting to it. Treasury 10-year hasn't actually ticked yet, though. Okay, that doesn't look so good. It doesn't look so good for bulls, rather. What? Around here, the culture is to not show bare shoulders much, so we call them porn shoulders when someone does. I've never heard that phrase before. The funny thing is I think Utah is really relaxed on those sorts of things. Like it used to be, sleeveless shirt at all was like not allowed. Now it's like sleeveless, if they're young enough, it's kind of accepted, but not spaghetti strap. What if all the I'm concerned at what the YouTube algorithm might read into that. I don't know if it looks at your guys' chat messages or not, but I bet it probably plays a part. Maybe what we should do is we should identify some keywords that we want YouTube to pick up on and have you guys use those a ton in chat. So from now on, try and use the word day trading in all of your chat messages, and we'll see if that sends more people over to our stream for day trading. No one wants to get it. I don't know if it actually looks at that or not. Does YouTube algo look at live chat? I'm going to put live chat in parentheses. The constantly updated guide to the YouTube algorithm. I don't know if it does. I mean, the guy does draw boobs. Listen, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I know, right? And I think I figured it out, because that's like every time I draw something on the screen, you guys are all like, boobs. What is with this? Why is y'all's minds in the gutter all the time? But then it hit me. Oh, because they're all locked in all the time. Is that what's going on here, guys? Is you've just been cooped up inside for too long that even a crude drawing of a volume profile looks like boobs to you now? I think that's what's going on. Why are you equating boobs with... No, what did I talk about gutters? Because I said you haven't been going outside? Like going outside and seeing like people aside from your wife and children. That definitely don't look good. Are they going to break the low again? I think there'll be a little bit of unhappiness if we breach 43, 44 again. Octavius says boobs. Oh, well, really? What's this? I guess this is showing me. Well, they saved them from near certain doom for now. The largest guide to streaming monetization, Alpha Gaming. Oh, that's cool. I have to watch that. So if I click join. Many of my neighbors have boobs. Yes, but do you actually see your neighbors, Ace? When was the last time that you saw your neighbors? Don't answer that. The last time you saw your neighbor's boobs, but oh, when I go outside, all I see is boobs. Trees from a distance. Oh, I see. But when was the last time that you saw real boobs? At least 7. Yeah, that's gonna offset day trading. The more you think about it, the more I'm like, if YouTube does actually look at the if YouTube actually does look at live chat for like keywords to see who to send to which channel, it is probably not a very effective metric. Oh, Gus figured it out. Okay, hold on a second. Let me look here. He wants the indicators. Yes, I see you. Okay. I need to bring up my full face here while I set him up. Free trial. Who signed up for a free trial? Oh, he's been trying it for a while here. Yeah. 83. Okay. I actually get a good number of people try it. Let's see here. Like, how many people have tried it in July? Actually, 3. 3 have tried it in July. Okay. Well, should I? I thought I got a pretty good excursion there, but it didn't work out. I'm thinking this trade has played out. Still haven't gotten a trade from my algo. And that one trade only wiped out one loss. So I'd still need to make another good trade to come out profitable on the E-mini here. And I'm kind of I feel mixed as to whether or not it's worth trying to take another one or not. What does Elite get you? A free bowl of cornflakes and your own boob drawing? No, it gets you the indicators. It gets you. We do the daily promote the indicator package, because you know what? I believe that I have a package of things that everybody that uses NinjaTrader could benefit from. And here's what you get. You get the inventory cost basis, which is a model that estimates where average market maker positionings are and can give you a good idea about where you're going to see different kinds of action. By the way, we've kind of been bouncing between the buyer and seller's cost basis so far, so it's kind of telling us that we're even. Did you say package? Yes, it's a package. It's a big package, and you get these level 2 indicators, like a largest resting orders, a level 2 changes. Level 2 tape is really, really cool to see large changes on the DOM. And then some of the most useful ones down here at the bottom, spread and spread candles. This will help you see things like the yield curve if it's flattening or steepening. Synthetic dollar index, which is really important to know what the value of the dollar is. By the way, like things were looking a little ugly there for a second. And since all of this, the dollar has increased and is almost coming up to highs of the day. Synthetic dollar index is very, very important. And also the volatility projected range. If you get VIX data, then you can use this one. Most people don't get that, so they don't use that one. But anyways, that's what you get for $10 a month. I'm also, I keep saying I'm going to add the bull gap one, but I just haven't done it yet. But I should go and add that one in there because I have found that useful. I have found that to be useful. So, Infinity Futures is doing a live webinar, Ninja. Yeah, I have to say, most of the stuff that I get from Ninja these days and their webinars are things that I already know. So I saw one that was like how to set up these different kinds of workspaces for these different sorts of things, like the tick and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But then I think about it. And I'm like, I bet you that they're just going to show us that stuff that I had set up with when I was looking at that stuff. Like putting a super smooth moving average over the tick. Seems to be beneficial. Anyways, speculatorseth.com, you can download a free 2-week trial. And then if you subscribe here on YouTube to Premium or to Elite, then you get to use the indicator package. And the goal, the reason I put that, because normally I would just keep it to myself, but the goal there is that we want to eventually build some of our own platform tools, and we're going to use that money to fund that development. So we're almost there in terms of, well, I think we're halfway there. Let me look. Yep, we're halfway there in terms of getting the enhanced API so that we can try doing the market by order data and build some tools off of that. So I'm excited. Are you excited? What we really need to do, though, is we just need to get the channel be like, have 100,000 subscribers and like start hiring developers to just build that stuff full time. That's what we really need to do. Ace says, good luck with that. Someday we're going to do it, Ace. You guys are going to help me. You're going to be like, Seth, here's a great idea for video. Thumbnail, TikTok video. It's going to really get people's attention and it's going to go so viral. It's going to go so viral and we're going to have 60,000 subscribers instead of 6,000 subscribers. And, we'll be able to do some cool stuff with it then. I actually, they want me to do, I'm doing a sponsored video for the Combine. And if the Combine thing continues to work the way it has, of course, we made a mistake. It was 100% my mistake of not canceling that order. But other than that, it's been going really well so far. So that, if that turns out well, that could be a big deal. Like you were open to great ideas, yeah. You need to wear a meat shirt and a tie made out of dollar bills. Well, that's an, I'll consider that idea, I guess. So they made their attempt at the highs again, and they came very much short of that. and now some hints of turning back down again, but it's very difficult. I would be interested to know if Ace had kept taking trades, because it looks like a little bit of choppy action. One day we can all say we knew Seth Wen and his first generation mugs will be collectible. So get your traders going to trade mug. Yeah. When CNBC hires me, and I become, the most widely followed financial analyst in the world, the traders going to trade mugs are going to be worth probably like $20. So, you could arbitrage that opportunity out. How much are they? I think they're 10 or 15. Gus says the market is acting like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Well, so I kind of got two things going on in my head when I'm watching this, because one thing is that we did just have some news, but it was like some housing numbers that kind of confirmed stuff that we already had, and there's consumer confidence, but it was like a European number. And overall this week we just haven't had a whole lot of news, and I not expecting a whole lot next week either. Let me come back and double check that, but I don't think that there's very much going on next week either. Let's see here. Durable goods. Oh, there is an FOMC and GDP. Okay, so we do have significant stuff happening next week, but that actually makes it even worse. It just means that like institutional traders aren't going to be as interested in trading this week. So we've had kind of this wishy-washy, you would expect to see this wishy-washy action, except for that because we had that huge plunge on Monday, we didn't get that. So I'm wondering if today it's just turning back into dead summer action, or if there's some underlying turmoil, because I was starting to feel really bearish when they were pushing 43, 44, right? Like I was ready to let that just run and run and run. You would want that showered, shaved, and tie on by 6:30 so they can cut out the clip that day? Sure. If the opportunity was presented to me, I would do it, yeah. Like one of the things that I struggle with all the time when I'm thinking about what do you actually want to do, is that all of the things that I thought about when I was a kid, maybe I didn't think high enough, but I did most of them. Like the one thing that I was having a hard time getting to have happen was to have kids, my own kid, and I mean like with my genes, right? And I did that too, right? So now that I have a baby, he's really getting into a toddler now. It just seems crazy, right? And I'm not like a millionaire. I guess I could say I want to become a millionaire, but I am trading, and I've had some periods of successes and failures, and I don't expect to always make money from doing it. That's okay. You know what I mean? So then it comes to the stream. It's like, okay, well, I do want to be more I want this stream to be as successful as possible. So the question is always going to be, what's the next thing that we can do to make the stream better? And I always have ideas for content. There's always things that I want to teach better, or that I think the retail trading community doesn't seem to understand, that I want to try and change people's opinions on, so that's not the problem. But the problem is coming up with the ideas that are actually going to get the views, and so that we can really do the real serious stuff that would help the channel, because to me, I tell you what, so one thing that really bothers me is when I get on TikTok and I see people that have had some success with TikTok, And maybe even they've had some success with YouTube. Like I've said, I've seen some people that it looks like they have really big trading YouTube channels, and they've taken off just in the past year, you know? And when I look at those channels, I can see that they haven't done anything with it. Like they still do the same thing that they did before. They have all of this success, and they're not using that success to make the channel better. And that to me is like if that happened, if I was making enough money to live off of it and I wasn't making the channel better, like I think that I would hire a full-time editor first before I would go full-time, because I think that would make a bigger difference to the quality of the content, you know? So like when I see them, they're not putting back into the channel, I feel like it's disrespectful to the audience. It's like, the only reason that you're successful is because of your audience. So you owe it to pay them back by making your content better. Because that's why people support a YouTube channel, is because they like your content and they want you to be able to make even better content. So when you don't put back into it, you know what I mean? Gus says, I feel like the content is good, but you're not getting the audience that I thought would be interested in the content you put out. I don't know. The thing is that I think that on the one-off videos, when we come across a good set of keywords and stuff, we do get pretty good amount of views. Like most of these videos, like for instance, one that does pretty well, but it's not like super massively popular, is the one that's like why you should trade futures versus wasting your time trying to day trade on Robinhood, right? And that one gets like 20 to 30 views a day. So like that's not too bad, right? Probably the subscription, I don't know if the subscription rate per view is low or what. So that's not really a metric that they hold up. But, you know, when I look at it, on one hand, I'm always thinking, okay, here's something that I can do that will get more views. Here's something I can do that will get more views. But then at the end of the day, I also go back and look at it. And based on my understanding of the YouTube algorithm, it's like, well, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I really only one video that I've made that really gets enough traffic to really bring the people through. And I need to work harder to find what those videos are going to be. You know, and a lot of it was luck of the pandemic that there was going to be a ton of people searching for how to build a trading computer, you know? Because says maybe it's something small that you need to do. Or maybe it's not anything that you need to do. Maybe it's that I just need to keep plodding along and making videos. I probably should make more videos. You know, there was a period where I was making one every week, and now I've kind of gone back to like every other week. It's really hard to make a video every week. It's a lot of work on the weekend, to be honest. Especially when I have to watch the baby, unfortunately. But well, that's what's so great about TikTok, is that on TikTok I can make a pretty good amount of content and I don't have to put a ton of effort into it. So I have been spending more of my mental power thinking about what can I put on TikTok. And I'm really happy with how things have been going on TikTok so far. But sometimes when I've looked at other channels that have gone like hyper viral, they're usually like you need to be like 5K subscribers, and then you have a video that works really, really well, and that's when things really take off. But then the other issue is like, if I made a video that like really took off, what would be the next video that it would make? And then, you know, like you have to keep it up. Because a lot of what happens is you get that big influx of people and then like it slowly dies out. Like that's what happened with the Bitcoin valuation indicator. People were really interested in it in 2017 when I correctly predicted the crash, but it like slowly, and then when the pandemic came along, a lot of those subscribers couldn't afford it anymore. Like it was really weird. That 1 month, it declined. Like, we had a really good base of subscribers for a really long time on that, and then that 1 month when Bitcoin crashed, it was like, oh, all of these people gave up on Bitcoin, I guess. And I haven't really promoted that as well since. When your wife travels, perhaps you could hire a babysitter. Yeah, well, if I really need it, I can have my mom come over and watch him. I don't know. I guess I don't really have a good excuse. I don't have a really good excuse because, like, I could make a video every week. It's just when I do that, that's like this kind of stress in the back of my mind, and it's hard for me to think about anything else. So, like, I get that one thing done. I have the time to do it, but it's like it just barely fits in there, you know? And so that's why I've kind of been giving myself every other week. This week I should be making a video, right? Because I didn't put one out last week. I think that the video I'm going to make is day trading for you. There's this other thing, which is like there are some videos that I would like to make that are a little bit more involved. I feel like I'm really smart or very dumb by mixed signals. The market hasn't really gone anywhere, has it? Since we've been yapping here for the last 30 minutes or so. You know, I was thinking, because I was watching this streamer the other day, and they were being really introspective, because they had an opportunity to go and get a job, and they decided, because they're very young, and they decided not to get the job and just focus on content creation. Which I was kind of like, well, you know, if it was a full-time job, it probably would hurt your content creation, but you could work like a part-time job and it'd still be fine. You'd be very happy about that, right? Well, as I was listening to them, I was kind of realizing, you know, like, because they were talking about, oh, I wasn't very popular in high school and stuff like that. And I was like, well, most people weren't popular in high school. Like, I think the reality is that most people are normal, and that the differences between them that we all focus on and make big deals about are like really tiny. And I think that happens in trading a lot too. Is like, I've had algorithms where it's literally like a difference of one tick can be the difference between a strategy that is like wildly successful and one that loses every time. So I had one that it backtests amazing. Like, the backtest was amazing. But because of the type of bars that I was using, I was always like one tick off. Like live, I was always one tick worse entry than in the back test. And that was the difference between something that almost always won and something that almost always lost. Like, that's how, you know, close. So I was definitely picking up on an inefficiency that like is actively traded, and I'm just not fast enough for it, you know? It's like that. What if instead of all the planning and preparation, you just sat in front of the camera for 5 minutes and talked about what you noticed was happening or what you learned during the week? Well, that's what I try and do on TikTok, right? The thing is that, yeah, I can get away with that on TikTok, but on YouTube, I probably won't get very good view percentage, so... But I do a lot of impromptu stuff on TikTok. It was kind of interesting, though. Like, at the beginning of the week, I had some really good insights, didn't I? Like, especially when I realized that what the cumulative delta that we were seeing in the futures was probably because of somebody hedging, somebody that knew they were going to dump a bunch of stocks, hedging themselves so that they didn't lose the profits in their stocks. Well, did I say doo-doo? No, I didn't say that. Anyways, but then like yesterday, I didn't post anything. Like, I just was like, what should I be talking about today that would catch people's interest? And that's the other hard part about it. I think it's probably okay on TikTok because from what I can tell, I used to think, oh, like if I have a good video and then I have to follow up with a good video because it's like having one good video after another that really picks the algorithm up and wants it to show me to people. But I'm starting to think that it really is independent. Like if you have a video, if you get people's attention at the beginning and you are actually good at it, it will pick it up every time, no matter what your last video was. So there's probably not like any one trick. Sometimes I present it like there's this one thing, right? There's probably not just this one thing, right? So it's just like all going to be little things to help the YouTube channel. But it also comes back to like, what would you guys like to see, right? I feel like that you guys are pretty happy with what you get, and you wouldn't even know what is the thing that you're not getting that you would want to have, you know? So that's why I'm always kind of talking about it, to kind of get a feel about what does the audience that I have, what are they most interested in? Trades. I wish I could just, tell people, here's this great signal that you take every time, you always win money. I mean, that's what a lot of people that I see that are successful on social media, that's how they do it, right? But they're just like total bullcrap. Strategy back tests. We probably should get back into strategy back tests again, huh? Because I didn't do Bollinger Bands, for instance. Bollinger Bands is one that is worth talking about, right? Worth talking about. In fact, I can't recall why I never made that one. I think that we just kind of went through a lull and then I kind of reprioritized things. But there was a point at which, like, I even started recording parts of it and stuff. Bloomberg tweets, Activision Blizzard's disastrous remake of Warcraft 3 was the result of mismanagement and financial pressures, according to newly revealed documents. Huh. Live debunking in big catchy characters. Well, so here's another one, is that when I see people saying stuff that are just like objectively false, like I really want to come in and just be like, here's this. But I've discovered that it's not very effective. I've discovered that the people that are watching that person, they don't watch me and then go, oh yeah, that guy was totally taking advantage of me and lying to me. They don't see it for some reason. And it just kind of gives you like this negative, everything kind of becomes negative. So it's almost like not worth it. It's better to just, make another video that's completely unrelated to the other one and point out all of the fallacies. And anybody that saw that other one, like, they'll know, okay, like, he's disproving all of these things. But $124.9. Oh yeah. I don't have one of my arresting order tapes on the 5-year. I only have it in the 10 and in the E-mini, but you're right, it's a pretty big bid there in the 5-year. And given that the 5-year has been the one that's kind of been driving the action. But it's not unusual to see one that big in the 5-year in a location like that, actually. Now, the E-mini has still been able to hold its gains, too. It kind of looks like they're going to break out at some point. They might do it. They might not do it until long after we're gone, though, huh? Like, I really haven't seen another trade. The one that I caught was okay. I certainly could have gotten more out of it than I did. But it was okay. I would say it wasn't that bad today. The worst thing you did is remove your P&L from the top corner. Maybe. So there's a couple of reasons why I removed the P&L from the top corner. One was that I just never updated it. Like, especially if I was doing bad, it was like painful to go in and do it. And I think that my mind was just like purposely, I think that my mind was unconsciously forgetting about it because it didn't want to have to admit that, oh, I lost money, yada, yada, right? The second thing is not every trade that I take is live, and I don't want to give people the impression that every trade that I'm taking is live. So I'm really conscious about that, right? If I do anything that leads people to believe that every trade that I take is live, then you're being deceptive, and you could potentially cause legal problems down the line, right? So it's the same with like putting your final P&L in the thumbnail. I think there's some issues with that. Not to mention that I don't take on a whole lot of risk, so it wouldn't be very impressive numbers. Unless I was losing that day. Just say it's demo at the beginning. I'd prefer to just be trading. Sometimes it's demo, sometimes it's not, and I don't necessarily say when. Because there's that whole issue of people following. Like that's the issue, is that like if this channel was all people that were following based on my past performance, like that would also be a problem, right? So I think that one of the biggest traps that people fall into is, well, the way for me to learn how to trade is to find somebody that is being successful right now and following their trades. There's problems with how the market works that makes it so that doesn't work, right? That we've talked about countless times. So I don't want to attract the audience in that way. But we could do the combine. Like if the combine works out, and I have to say it's been working really well right now. If we hadn't have taken that boo-boo, we'd be at like 1100 of 1750. So like, this is good. And even this one is still good, and I think we stand a good chance of getting there, right? And then that could attract some people. If I come and say, here's how I pass. And it's a good story too, right? With all the drama and everything that went along the way, I think it would be a good video. That one I think might be worth paying somebody to edit it for me. Okay, yeah, but that's what they'll do. Yeah, but doesn't there a certain point at which that also makes it less likely to work? You know? I don't know. Like there was a period where a bunch of these guys that were doing like the live streams kind of like popped up and became popular. You notice that their popularity is waning a little bit now. One of them kind of got caught in a lie and is like all but deleted his YouTube channel from what I last heard. And yeah, you know, the issue is that if your performance is what attracts the people to the channel, then that's like you live and die by that. And everything that we know about trading says that is not a very good strategy for keeping a growing YouTube channel, you know? Who is that? It was, I don't even remember the guy's name. No, it was Paradise, right? It was Paradise who was telling everybody that all of his orders were live and they weren't. Nothing against the guy personally. I don't know really anything about any of these guys other than what you guys in chat tell me. It's really kind of weird. Like you would think I should have the attention span to go in and watch what a different trader did during that time, right? But every time that I try to go in there and do that, I'm just like, this is just like they're not saying anything useful, you know? I can't handle it. Oh, it's not that I can't handle it. It's just, it's boring to me. Got about 10 minutes left. Patrick Rooney is tweeting a Yahoo Finance article saying gold traders chat bragged about how easy it is to manipulate prices. This is probably something that we've already heard. Yeah, chat logs introduced as evidence by prosecutors at the Chicago spoofing trial of two former precious metals trader for Bank of America Merrill Lynch unit shows one of them, Edward Basis, bragging about how easy it is to manipulate prices. On January 28th, when Basis was working at Deutsche Bank AG, he put out bids to buy 2,740 gold futures contracts valued at around $244 million over the course of 4.5 minutes. According to Maria Garibaldi, a vice president at Analyst Group, who studied exchange and trading data for prosecutors, more than 80% were canceled without being filled. Yeah, that's a load of crap. And this guy is trying to say he's innocent. Well, let's finish reading before I make conclusions. On the other side of the market, fellow Deutsche Bank trader Basis coordinated with sold his 170 contracts worth $15 million as the price rose. That does show you how easy it is to manipulate it sometimes. Basis rose minutes after the trading in the chat message sent to other Deutsche Bank trader. Yep. So they spoofed and then they were like, yep, see how easy that was? What a douche. What a douche. I F the market around a lot, Basis said in another message. That day, Basis placed an iceberg order to buy 10 contracts of platinum, with 6 being filled at placement, she said less than 10 seconds later. After Basis placed that buy order, Pasillo placed an order to sell 205 contracts, which was almost 90% of what was visible on the exchange order book. The price went down and the rest of Basis orders were filled. Less than a second later, Pasillo's sell order was canceled. Oh, in opening arguments Tuesday, Basis' defense attorney told the jury that once her client understood spoofing was illegal, he stopped doing it, and that nearly all the conduct the government identified was before the enactment of the Dodd-Frank Act, which specifically prohibited spoofing. Really? Yeah. Was that a spoof? Yeah, they're talking about spoofing. Is it really the case that they were spoofing pre-2008 and they're only just now prosecuting them? What? Oh, we did get a new high. I didn't even notice. That was like 5 minutes ago, too. Well, I guess maybe I did notice. I didn't know. But look, the treasuries are at their highs, too. What the heck? There's a 10-year chips auction today. I don't think that explains it. Buy all the things, huh? Yesterday we were starting to get some inverse correlation, and now it's gone back to a positive correlation. Was super weird. Super weird to me. I have a hard time believing them. They saying that they didn't understand that it was illegal. How can you be an institutional trader and not understand that stuff? Move that. Okay, Got a bunch of things to read after the stream here. The war to bring down Peloton, eh? JP Morgan gave its financial advisors a green light. How we haven't checked in on Bitcoin today, have we? Yeah, it hasn't really moved since yesterday, but yesterday was a good buy. But did he warrant to execute the spoof or front run it? They literally coordinated. Somebody wanted to buy, and then somebody else would put a big sell order out so that they would get filled. It was coordinated, and they knew what they were doing. Well, they claimed that they didn't know it was illegal. I don't know if that's a valid defense, but that's what. I guess I should leave that up to the lawyers, huh? I get a little mad because I'm like, how could you not know? Like, I know. You're trading at an institution, you certainly should know, but apparently it don't work that way. Well, I must say, even though the E-mini broke a high and everything, the overnight high is up at 61. Market is still really quiet. I suppose that probably suggests that we'll have a slow move up and then maybe we could get to 61, but maybe some reason to doubt things. I don't know. Still haven't gotten a trade here. Hasn't even thrown an imbalance signal, in fact. Well, should I try and take one so that we get the day? I think I should.
Order filled.
What's the difference between a spoof and just canceling an order? Well, so I think that in this particular case, the reason that they're able to, like prosecute them or whatever is because they had text messages of them talking about it. Know what I mean? Because otherwise they could just argue, oh, I just changed my mind. I kind of feel like with an order that big that you don't just change your mind, but whatever. So they argue about that with the algos, but you got to understand that the algos is what they have a reason that they're canceling it. Is just that the thing that they're looking at to decide whether they want to buy it or not is very short term, but they're not trading these huge lots. Gensler and Yellen have cryptos in their crosshairs. Who in their right mind would put any real money on it? That's how I feel too. But then I saw these people talking about JP Morgan is giving their biggest clients, their retail wealth clients, access to cryptocurrency funds. So Okay, well, I'm interested. This might kind of. There's a possibility that the action will change after the London close in 30 minutes. There's also the auction, the 10-year tips auction at 11, I think it is. Yeah, 1 o'clock Eastern time. That's going to matter. But until then, market might just be quiet. So I think it's time for me to get going. We should put in a title. Talked about so many different things today, but I don't know what I should put in the title. Yeah, I really don't actually know. Put making money. Yeah, there we go. Didn't take any trades today. Oh no, I did take one trade that scratched, huh? Oh no, wait. And then I took those losers in the E-mini. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna say market holds gains, but Treasury yields drop again. Is what I'm gonna say, because that is a little odd to me that the Treasuries are up at their highs. So we shall see. Anyways, it's time for me to get going, so I will see you guys tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. Can you believe this? Friday already? Okay, well. So see you guys then. Next week should be interesting, much more exciting. So until then, stay profitable.